Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Hlubi_Z, and if you don't say the underscore, then the whole thing don't matter, so you gotta say the whole thing, sweetie. Welcome back to my channel. This is a easy everyday makeup look that you can master in an hour and you can be ready for your day. So I thought I should put together this video for people who are starting out or people who just don't want the whole glam look, want to keep it nice and natural, and this can be a look that you can rock every day. So that's equally the best part of it. So let's get straight into the video as I show you how to master this cute everyday nice look that you can have as well.
Usually I don't post. Usually I don't post, but I want the world to know. Time to pull a drop top out. Summer.
So really guys, I know you've heard this time and time again, but the best part of your makeup, yes, you can say it's your skin, but for everything else, for all intents and purposes, it is prepping your skin. So we are going to be starting off by putting this primer on. This is the Essence Jelly Grip. Ever since I heard about her and I started using her, I'm just like, she's the one. She's the one. So if you see me looking at the mirror, it's just that I can get everything in for you guys. So you just want to make sure you're applying the areas that you need it, but I know I just literally apply all over my face because I don't want to miss a single spot. And because you can see the consistency is really good and it does keep your makeup on for a very long time. So I like to let that dry a bit. So I fan myself down, or I just pretty much move on to the next step, which is prepping my brows. Guys, I don't necessarily do my brows anymore. I don't even want to lie to you. But what I like to do, I like to apply the setting mist on my brows. If not, there's also like gel you can try. I also wanted to try the Got to Be Glued one, but I haven't gotten it yet. So I like to apply this mist because it also just dries out really quickly, and this is just for me to brush through my brows. So you do have simpler ways of doing this. For example, we've got some brow kits on the market, so you can definitely get a brow gel that will help you, because I ran out of mine, honey. So but I always have alternatives, so I'll use this, or I'll use like a gel on my eyebrows just so that it can lift them up, put them into shape. But you also have the option of using any good brow kit that you know, or the Got to Be Glued brow gel. Really good for your edges and your eyebrows. So the foundation that I'm using today is one that I've recently picked up and I absolutely love, which is the L'Oreal Infallible 32 Hour Wear. She is a godsend. You are going to see that in this video. So guys, this for me, I usually use a foundation brush just because I like the way that it goes onto my skin. I don't have anything against using a puff or whatever you feel is comfortable. Some people even use their bare hands just to put it on the face, but I just like to put some pumps on my on my hand, at the back of my hand, and I usually start off with about 3 pumps, and then I just like to dab it on there just because I don't want to be putting too much all at once. And then you start applying it all over your face like so. And for me, I like to build up my foundation, which is why like when I do my makeup, I'm not in a rush. Like I try to be as early as possible. Like if I have to be somewhere in like 3 hours, I start like the first hour doing my makeup so that I know if I'm running late or I don't have time for touch-ups, I'm not necessarily like freaking out. So I like to obviously apply some of the foundation on my neck just so that it blends in really nicely. Much harder when you're wearing like a white or anything, but I guess it comes with time where you sort of feel comfortable with the kind of coverage that you have, or the makeup that you apply on your neck. But I like to go in either way. I mean, who doesn't know about makeup stains, honestly? And then you can obviously apply some on your forehead, all over your face, guys. and build it up. If you want to add some more, you add some more. Like, that's the beauty of makeup. Like, I honestly, you can follow tips on the market, like they're not necessarily wrong. The only thing that you don't want to do is rush your makeup. I think that's like the common thing we all know. Do not rush the process. Like, honestly, take it one step at a time. One step at a time, and you won't get it wrong. So I don't like to apply a lot of foundation on my eyelid, just because if I am applying on a day where I am applying eyeshadow, I use concealer or a shadow base for that. So I don't really need to be applying a lot, like on, sorry guys, a lot of makeup on my eyelid. I just don't think it's a good idea. I don't know why, but it just never looks too good to me. So I just refrain from that. So once you feel like your application for your foundation is good and you feel like, yes, she's eating, I like to go in then with the concealer. A lot of people don't like this part, but I just feel like you need to get with the program. So I usually start a lot darker, right? A lot darker, because it just helps with blending it nicely. So I use the Maybelline Fit Me concealer, and this is in the shade 40. So this one is the one that I like to use first, and then I just go in on the corners of my eye. Go in on this side as well. So as you can see, I don't apply a lot, just because, you know, build up, guys. Build up is the best way to go about it. So that's how I usually apply. And then like to do that, and then in between, guys, all of that, you want your concealer not to dry out, but you want it at like non-creamy and thickness. Like, you want your concealer to be like in a good spot before you start patting it out, and especially on the under eye. So what I usually do, I use a puffer and I just go in on my chin first, because for that you want it to look like it's blended with the rest of your face. So I usually just go on my chin because I don't want it that bright. I don't really want it that bright, but I do want it like really, really good and smooth. So, and again, guys, the art of makeup too includes how you hold your puff or how you hold your brush. You want to really go light. Like when you hold your foundation brush, you want to be holding it at the tip and just making sure that it's a loose movement, so you then just dab it on your face. You don't want anything harsh where you're like literally punching through your skin, but that's just a tip, okay? So then you go in with your puff, and I just go in and blend that out. So you want to blend just under your eye for the first application, and that's what I'm doing right now. So as you can see, I'm stopping right here and going triangular almost by my nose, and I'm creating that angle as I go along. So this is my first blend. Because I like a bright under eye, you guys are gonna get to see what I usually go in with. And then I go and I tackle this side as well, stopping right at this bridge of my eye and just sort of bringing that in. There are people that go straight up for like your hairline. That's what I used to do as well, but I just feel like the whole point of brightening my face is under my eye. And that's a tip that I actually got from Miss EXO, and I was like, actually fair. Actually so fair. And then as you can see, it's nice and concealed, but it's not the kind of bright that I like. So you also want to come on. So guys, what I usually do is, for this first application, I do the bridge of my nose, right? But I don't do much up here. And the reason is, like, it turns out to be too heavy for me when I look at it. You don't see anything here. The reason I do that is because it tends to be too bright, like on my forehead, which feels unnatural to me. So I usually use the concealer that I have on the bridge of my nose and I just push it up to the center. Of course, I do sometimes feel like I can do that, especially if I've chosen like a foundation that is darker, and I really just like that way of doing things. But it's totally up to you. I feel like makeup also does touch into your creativity, so it's all about what looks good to you. So after that, before we can do any of the contouring, I go in then with a brighter shade, which is my walnut shade, and it's 334, also from L'Oreal Infallible 24 hour more than a concealer, darling. This is what I use to brighten up the eye. So honestly, she is very bright, so I don't like to apply her too much, so I just go in for 2 sort of dabs on either side of my nose into my eye, and then that's it. That's how I leave it, right? And then I'm gonna go in with the puff while it's still creamy, because this concealer, what I know about it is that if it's dry, it will kind of be very, very hard for you to blend it out. So I just go in while it's still nice and creamy and I blend. So guys, like I said, you'd want to do this process when you are not in a rush. Like your makeup, it can be done in like 30 minutes, but when you are applying it and sort of like blending it out, you need to focus. Like it needs to be a thing where you're not like really trying to be done quickly. It needs your attention. So as much as you can, try and be intentional about like applying it and applying it right. So I try and like blend it up into the bridge again and come in. It sort of feels like a circular motion most of the time, but it's actually not. So you want to go in and blend that through. Also, like when doing your face, right, you're gonna make mistakes, especially if you're starting out. You're gonna make those mistakes. Don't be afraid to make them, because it just really teaches you a lot more about the application process, and it teaches you a lot more about like what you like with your face and what works for you and what doesn't. So you're gonna make those mistakes. I hear a lot of people be like, oh, I don't want to give it a try. Give it a try, because once you do, like for me, I'm pretty sure when I started my makeup, I was like dismal, but like now it's working out. Like it really is working out for my good, honey. Even when I want to do like a really hectic glam look, I at least know that, you know, I've got the basics down on lock. So give it a try, ladies. Don't shy away from it, okay? So once you feel like you have blended to your satisfaction, you want to use right, so once you feel like you've blended to your satisfaction and you are happy with the application, as you can see, it did sort of touch my nose, but I'm not bothered by that. So you want to use any sort of translucent powder or baking powder. And I know you're gonna judge me, and it's not on the market anymore, but I still have the Yarms translucent powder from Scarlette. I still use this girly and I love her, and she's almost done, and that's stressing me out. Like it is stressing you so deeply. So you want to use a translucent powder, and the one thing about translucent powder, it can get messy, so you want to like dab it and then also like tap it out. So dab, tap it out, just so that it's not an entirely like messy process. And then you're gonna go in and just dab it onto the part that was concealed, or the part where you applied the concealer, because when I say concealed, it sounds like we were up to something criminal. So you want to apply that and have it sit on your face for a long period of time. So not too long. But because I applied a bit of concealer here as well, I'm gonna go in and dab there. And then I didn't apply much except earlier, but I'm just going to make sure that it's dry on the T-zone, just because it's one area that can potentially cause a lot of problems. And then with whatever's left, I'm gonna go into my brows, because that's the part that's gonna be important shortly. And that's it. So that's how much I use, but you can use any baking powder. Right, so while that sits, you want to kind of go in and contour your face. And again, kill me. Oh, this one has hair because I think I've put glue on it before. This is a crazy makeup video or makeup tutorial, but I still have the Yarms contour palette from Scarlette Hill. As you can see, I'm on a lifespan yayo girl. So I'm gonna go in with this shade over here. I've used this before, but I think this was more like summer when my skin was dark, so I couldn't really see it. But like now I like to use this one, especially if I'm going, I like to use this one especially if I'm going for like a lighter look. So I just dab in and I go into my cheekbones, and as you'll see, I'll sort of like my face just so that it can look the part. So I like to start on the bridge, like not even on the bridge, but on the top part of my cheek, and work myself down. So you want to start top and go down, and I find this to be more like the seamless process of applying a contour, especially a powder one. So yeah. So you don't want to apply the same side too deeply, and that's because this can also be a sequence where you apply the contour well without it being too dark. Right, so I know a lot of people like to go in here as well. So with whatever left contour powder you have, you can sort of like brush it out into your hairline, and this sort of blends everything nicely and keeps the light version of you like up here or in the middle here. So you can do that by brushing into your hairline. Right, so because we are doing a simple, nice, cute, elegant, everyday look, you want to also just make sure that powder here doesn't stay too long. So I go in and I use this brush over here, which is like a contour brush. No, it's a concealer brush, pardon me. You go in with your concealer brush and you just brush out the excess powder. There's actually two methods of doing this. Sometimes when I'm in a rush, I don't let the powder sit on my face for too long. I let it, I just press it into. So it's like a press in, brush out. This is like a method I also do when I'm sort of like in a rush. So I press it in, brush it out, press it in, brush it out. So because we're done with that step, I usually go in with a brush, sort of like a brush that's not too angled but like thin enough for you to do your nose and contour it up to your brow. So I use the same palette or shade that I was using for my contour, and I just start here. So I've noticed that starting here can sort of like give a really, really weird, you know, to my nose. So I like to start over here, just as you see it, and brush it backwards. And I do the same for the other side, brush it backwards. And as you can see, it does sort of achieve what it needs to achieve without it being too harsh. Then I go in and I brush it up. So you go in and you brush it out right into your brow. I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but sometimes when I'm doing a side that's not the side that I use for writing, like, you know, people are left-handed or right-handed, it becomes so hard, but you want to sort of like blend it in so that it doesn't show any harsh lines. And you brush it out. Now you can bring it in because it's not going to be like that harsh powder when you start out. See, still a nice natural, you know, my is sort of like natural, but like my nose is cinched in, but not too, you know, exaggerated, not too exaggerated. That would be the process up until we reach the brows. So guys, disclaimer, I have not done my brows in probably a year. I won't even lie to you. I like the idea of brows being drawn on, but I'm gonna do this as best as I can in the remembrance of how to do it, because the tutorial is good if you're a person with no brows, or like your brows are sort of very, very, very thin or light, so you want to know how to do your brows. So the easiest way for me that I've found is that you don't, again, how you hold your pencil, and this is the Essence Long Lasting Eye Pencil. This is an option I like. So you want to use the dark brown. The shade is the Hot Chocolate. So you want to, I'm going to bring you guys, or I'm going to come a little bit closer for this part. So you want to start very, very lightly, and you want to sort of go in the direction of your brows. So as you can see, you're going to be applying some pressure, but not too much, in the direction of your brow. So I don't go starting here. As you can see, there's a couple of brows that I've left out, and that's on purpose because I don't like it too dark and like too defined from that. And you don't even have to worry if you make a mistake. You can always brush it. I will conceal it out, and I'll do the same here. As you can see, I'm going to leave some of these out and start right here. It just helps for me for the blending or making of like an ombre look almost, but it's not too sharp. So you want to like go in the sequence of your brows, and you can even do like a little mini edge if you like. There we go. So for me, that is it. That does the job. Other people like it another way, but for this look, for it to be like elegant and seamless, you want to do that. Then you're gonna go in again with your spoolie. You can use any spoolie you like, and now you're bringing that first section in here, and then brushing it out and bringing it back in here, and having that pencil, you know, sort of come forward, but not too much. And then you want to brush that to make it nice and neat. And you can do the same. So you just brush it forward and out. You don't even have to be too harsh on this part, because again, we're doing like a softer look, and you brush out your brows to your desire. And you shape it. I feel like my brows are bushy, but we're gonna get this right. We're gonna get this right. So you want to sort of have that look that's like seamless and not too harsh for this everyday simple look. Now I have a concealer, right? I actually have two concealers. There was the one that I used earlier. It's not too dark, but I also have this L'Oreal Serum Corrector Serum Concealer. It is so nice. It's in the shade N6, sorry, it's 9N. It's the medium deep, and I'm going to show you guys why that is easy for me to do firsthand, so that I create a good line for myself to apply without making any mistakes. So you can go with the lighter one, but I sort of feel like the lighter one is good for the edges, so I use this darker one not too much. I like to, and this I recently discovered to do well, so that I can shape it to what I need it to be. It doesn't always have to be this dark, guys, but I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. This literally will turn your eyebrows into something ombre, and then you want to use your concealer, and make sure you take off as much product as you can, because this can be quite harsh if you don't. So then I like to, you can put this on a brush as well, but because these come with a really nice brush to themselves, you're gonna go light, very light, and sort of brush that out. Now it does not even have to go to the edge. Don't take it to the edge. You can, but because concealers can spread, you don't want to take it to the edge. And you can start here again. You see, I made a mistake. You want to start here, right? And just like go again, not to the edge. Now this one looks a bit messy, but we'll get there. Don't you stress yourself. Then you can get an angled brush, which I like to use, or you can get your normal concealer brush. I think because a lot of people have this shape, I'm going to use this shape for applying this, or rather shaping my brow. And as you can see, we've just managed to obviously draw everything in place. We're gonna go for the other side. Guys, I don't think my brows are shaped the same, so you're gonna have to forgive me, because I feel like they're not shaped the same. Not because I didn't draw them that way, I just think it's the design of my brow. But yeah, that's the basic of it. Remember the brush that we used to do the bridge of our nose? This is a very good brush to blend everything out, just so that you don't have a harsh concealer on your brow. Or you can, some people love that look, but for a more simple look like the one we're doing, you want to make sure you just like, you want that lightness to remain, but you don't want it to sort of like be, you know, rigid. And because we have used a bit of concealer on the front, you want to make sure that you just dust in an area where it's going to look like your brows are shaped, but it's not too much. So yeah, you just brush that out, and we are almost there. So guys, blush is our next step. Mine is broken, right? I don't even want to show you, like, it's embarrassing. I don't know what happened. I think it fell, but I'm using this pink, it's called the Strawberry Flush from Essence, and I love it because it also has a shimmer to it, right? So same application process with concealer. You want to sort of brush it and then dab it a little bit, just so that it starts really soft. And this is our next step in the process. You can have two ways of applying blush, right? And this can be to your desire. So if you want a fuller look, you want to sort of apply it on your cheeks, or at least like just above your cheeks. But if you want to do for like an elongated look, which is what I'm going to try and demonstrate for you guys, you're gonna want to start just on the upper side up until your brow. So you want to apply it here. It just gives a little girly but elongated look, so we're gonna go for it. So you're gonna apply on both sides of your face. and then you can sort of dust it out. So I don't wear a lot of blush, I don't want to lie to you, but this one for me just gives me like a little bit of a pink pop, but also does really well in terms of like the shimmer. Right, so you can apply it. As you can see, it does not give that deep pink look, but it does sort of like when you move, it gives you a pink look. I'm looking to expand my eyeshadow collection though, definitely, but this is just literally the best one for me at the moment, that I feel like it's not too much, especially when I'm doing this everyday look that's very chilled and very subtle. And yeah, so when we move on from that, we're going to be doing the lip. So the lip for me, combos are everything. You can use any lip color you want, you can blend it to your satisfaction, but for this look I'm gonna do a more nudish look, but I'm not gonna use, so I do have nude lipstick, but we're not gonna try that. So I want to teach you guys how to use what you have to sort of like make it all blend in. So we're gonna go in with the pencil first. So if you'd like, you can use any pencil. The hot chocolate that we use for the brows works as well. But I'd like to introduce you guys to those that don't know about this one. It's the Isabella Garcia eyeliner, and it's so good, guys. The thickness, you don't even have to apply a lot. Like literally, I just push my pencil up until this much, and you want to apply it like on your lip, quite dark, and I like to do that, but you can go lighter if you want to. Can you see that? Like, she is so cute. She is so cute. I love her so much. Pricey. If you guys want to know about everything, I'll put them in the description box, but girl is good. Girl is good. So remember earlier I introduced you guys to the Maybelline concealer in the shade 40. So that's the one I'm going to be using for my nude lip. Now, because you don't want too much, you're gonna brush it off, and what I like to do is put on the middle part of my lip and just sort of like dab it out. So as you can see, it quite spreads out really nicely. And you can do that, but because this is all light and it's gonna look really weird if it's too light, but if you like this lightness, you can go for it. I like to go in again in the middle with the darker one that I had earlier, which is the True Match concealer. Which will then give me like a nice blend. You can have obviously the perfect lip color that you want, but this for me just sort of works out. And because the look is simple, it's elegant, you can keep it at this, having like a simple sort of cinched in look for it, or you can use any desired lip gloss that you want, but I think I'm gonna keep it like this because you'll see that it does sort of have a nice look when we put on the setting spray. So I'm gonna keep it like this, nice and matte. And yeah, so we're gonna complete the look offline, and then I'm gonna come back on here and show you just what it looks like when I've removed all this and just look a little bit better. Because this look is simple and it's everyday, as you can see, it looks like my lower lashes have been drowned by the concealer. You want to either use a pencil or you can use your mascara, but I want it like really nice and attractive on my eye. So you're just gonna want to pull your eye down and go on your waterline and just sort of revive that. Right, I don't put a lot, but it just goes enough for you to revive your waterline. Right, and I don't go in too much with the eyeliner because I love to use the mascara, and this is the this is the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. It just came out, I think, so I'm going to be trying this with you guys. So we're gonna apply this on the bottom lashes. Oh, the wand, honey. But because we're applying it on the lower lashes, and it can be a process, especially if you make a mess, so you want to sort of like brush out as much product as you can and go in with it. And this goes for any mascara, guys, like not just this one. You want to be careful. Don't blink. And you brush through as though you are reviving them. So to seal the deal, you know we have to seal the deal. I love, as you can see for this video, I feel like if you can get your hands on the L'Oreal products that I've shown you, perfect look. And then this is the L'Oreal Infallible 3-second setting mist. This girl lasts, guys. This girl lasts. I don't know what to say about it. It lasts, and for me, I enjoy it so much. So this is what we're going to be using for our look today. Okay, so she's ready for the final, you know, magic of this whole process, which is your setting spray. I go in. It's up to you. Like I said, it is totally up to you. How long it lasts, I don't think matters. For me, I put as much as I can, and I actually don't care. I actually don't care. So it's okay. So guys, this brings us to the end of my video. I hope this was helpful. If you are a new person and you just want to have fun with your makeup, you want to take it lightly and take it like one step at a time up until you reach your desired look, that's absolutely fine. So please make sure you check out the products in the description box, and of course please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one.